Welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Katie Shahan, with the Home Cringe Show, sponsored by Yarlo. If you haven't, check out the Yarlo app, download it from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, and give it a try today. It's a free app to keep track of all of your home maintenance that you do to your house. It gives you tips and tricks on how to make home ownership easier, as well as keep track of your receipts. And when you go to sell your house, you have all the tools right there that hopefully we can get you 5 to 10% higher asking offers. So today we are here with Rich Kerner. Hey, Rich.
Hey, how you doing, Katie?
Not bad, not bad. Usually we play a little game of fast pitch at the beginning of our segments, so everyone can get to know you a little bit better. Rich has been on our show previously. He also owns a electrical company called
Yep.
Watts Electric.
Yes.
And what areas of the Twin Cities do you service, Rich?
Oh, we can go anywhere. We're licensed all over. Any anywhere you want.
Even Nebraska and Wisconsin?
No, we. It's weird. Minnesota doesn't reciprocate with Wisconsin, which is weird. But I have all my licenses: North, South, Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska. So we can help you.
Awesome. So let's see. I'm going to ask you a series of questions so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. And they're kind of silly, but they're also kind of entertaining for me. That's all that's important in this show, I guess. So you ready for some random questions?
Hit me up.
All right. Rich, what is your favorite way to drink your coffee?
Oh, with lots of creamer.
Do you prefer cake or glazed donuts? Yeast donuts.
What, yeast?
Yeah,
What?
you know, like the ones that are glazed, or the ones that are just like cake donuts.
Oh, glazed, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, what is the most common tool left behind on the job site?
My brain, but a screwdriver, sure.
Your first answer was the best one. And last question. How many companies do you own now?
Well, we got Home App Realty, which I'm the broker and an agent, and Katie's also an agent. We have Month 8 Construction, where that one's just starting out. We'd like to take it two different directions, and maybe we could talk about that later. And I also own Watts Electric, which is residential, commercial, anything that you need. And my wife and I are partners in a frozen yogurt shop in Andover called Sweet Toppings.
And Sweet Toppings, it's about to become a shake and float season up there, right?
Right, we are. I hope our float week is coming, we call it. So we have root beer floats. You guys can get your own froyo in the glass and then buy either root beer or orange pop, or I think a lot of times she has a variety of different pops that you can throw in there. And I don't know, it's kind of fun. We put a bunch of floaties up like it's a float, like you're floating around in a pool. Now, I mean, this week it's freezing today. It's like 68 degrees here today. It's iceberg cold.
It is a little chilly here too. So my favorite, we were talking about donuts just a minute ago. My favorite, when I went to Sweet Toppings up in Andover, is they have the winter times they do milkshake Fridays. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. We call them called the Frozen Friday.
Frozen Friday. And one time there was a donut, like a whole donut on my. I think I got a huge shake for like $6, and it came with a donut.
Yeah, we so this last year we had in previous years, one of my daughters was just making all the shakes and all the ideas, and we've had birthday cakes with candles on it. Like you get a little cupcake and it was a birthday shake. So a lot of kids, that had their birthdays around that area, they would come up on that day. We had, oh my gosh, we had a Spider-Man one time. We've had multiple Marvel type themed, but yeah, it's a good time. Last year we had all of our employees make a contest out of it, so they had to build the shake themselves, advertise it to all their family and friends, and gather as many people as they could in there to have the shake that Friday. And then whoever won, they had three different opportunities to build the shake, and they would get a gift certificate at the end of at the end of it. So we run it from, I think it's usually December through April.
Okay.
So get people in there when it's cold up here in Minnesota who wants ice cream, right? But on Friday night, it's really fun. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I just so if you have any youngsters who are looking for some part-time work, definitely send them over to Sweet Toppings, because not only do they learn about a work ethic, but they
Yeah.
also get to express their creativity in milkshake building contests.
Yep. We want our kids, they do, sometimes they do little TikToks, and they have, they'll have we have normally 2 employees working, sometimes 3, but those 2 will have a little contest that they'll both build their own cup, their own froyo cup, and decorate it with all the toppings that they want, and then they post it, and they try to find out who gets the most votes during their shift.
So, wow, you guys are just social marketing geniuses. I love this.
Right.
So not only does Rich also keep me up to date on the frozen yogurt market, but he also is a partner with me in Home Apt Realty here in the Twin Cities, and basically north and south and east and west. We do work all over.
Yep.
And so I wanted Rich to come on today because there's been a lot of changes in the housing market in just the last couple of weeks. And Rich has been doing a lot of work with home sellers. And so we kind of thought it would be a great opportunity to update our audience about the real estate market, what's going on, and what we're kind of looking at in the future.
Yeah.
So I was reading an article the other day that said that currently there are the most people applying for mortgages right now over the last year. So last year, if you've been trying to sell your house, yes, there's still a seller's market, but the demand for buying has really gone down as the interest rates have gone up. But now we're seeing talks with the Fed about possibly lowering interest rates. So there's been a flood of new buyers trying to qualify for mortgages. So, Rich, tell us a little bit about what you've been learning from representing sellers in the Twin Cities.
Well, I just tell them to go for it. Let's get it on the market. Let's find out what we can get and sell for you. As far as the buyers go, I just wish that they would, maybe make that offer to the seller. You don't know the seller's current position of what they would or wouldn't accept. And the worst you could get is told no, or at a counter offer. Maybe you offer slightly less than the asking price because you thought the value wasn't quite there, or maybe you didn't like, I don't know, you didn't like the tree in their front yard. Whatever, right? So I encourage them to make the offer, because
And what you're saying is that what the market was like right now is not what it was a year ago. So there's not 5 people bidding on a house anymore.
it's slowed down, yes, definitely in that. Yeah, I mean, you still find stories of, houses selling in 24 hours, or it went multiple offers in a matter of a day or two. And it could be a lot, just like they say, real estate is all about location, location, location. For whatever reason, that house at that time hit on a lot of people's wants list, and they all converged on it, and just did a beehive around it, and they all swarmed it. So other times you just might be slightly off on your asking price. You might be slightly off on where people are really looking to live. There's lots of factors, but like I say, I would encourage them to maybe just make that offer, to get negotiations going, and at least talk, instead of just viewing the home and saying nope, not interested.
Well, they might generally not be interested, but at the same time, it's not a buyer's market by any means. So there's still limited supply
Yeah.
on the market right now, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not as competitive as we've been seeing. People, for the most part, our houses aren't selling right away. Some of the research I've been doing, houses are staying on the market like a week. Just kidding. They've been
Yeah.
staying on longer than 24 hours. So it's really a sign that I don't think the market is coming down by any means. I don't think that people are going to be losing property value, but sellers also have to acknowledge that a year ago you could look at a Zillow or homes.com and it would show your house valuation at uh 400,000, and you would work with your realtor, and your realtor would suggest, we could probably get 450 or $500,000 for this. And so you're expecting the multiple offers, you're expecting
Right.
50,000 over asking price. Well, I don't think the market is there anymore. What do you
No,
think, Rich?
no, I don't either. It is a different market. I think there's a lot of uncertainty by people right now, even in the construction end. This spring, it was one of our slowest springs it's been for at least 7 years, and
Wow.
because of the interest rates, and it's not only people purchasing homes. Interest rates cause everything, and we need the change. We need some type of change for the better that will allow people to be more confident in their choices and what they can do. So the housing market is definitely slowed, and I think it is the uncertainty. But like you say, the feds, I think they were saying they wanted to lower it in September. I don't know if that'll be middle September. It'd be great if it was the 1st of September. We want people to get out there and move. We want them to understand that a lower interest rate allows your buying power to go up a little bit. Or, I mean, right now, I wish buyers, if they're in the market right now and they're just waiting to see what the interest rates will do in September, I would say don't miss that home right now, because by the time that you're locking in your mortgage, it will be September. I
Yeah.
mean, we're approaching mid-August here, and by the time all the paperwork's signed and before you have to lock in for your mortgage, it could be middle September. And
Right.
or so if you see a house you like, I would definitely go for it. And I doubt the interest rates are going to drop so dramatically that it could
Nope.
cause you to have a thousands of.
Definitely. Yes. And
Oh,
there's always an option to refinance down the road.
oh,
So we're talking with Rich Kerner here, Home App Realty, also with Watts Electric and Month 8 Construction. So he has a really insightful, many insights into the housing market, as well as what's going on with home service professionals and how they factor into the housing market. So after these messages, stick around, hear what Rich has to say about first-time home buyers and how we're bringing that how that factors into this whole equation. And we're going to talk a little bit more about interest rates and maybe some tips on how we can be more efficient with our electric. So after these after these messages, stay tuned and we'll keep talking with Rich Kerner with Home App Realty.
all right.
All right. Thanks for sticking with our sponsors and learning more about AM 950 radio. We love being home. They're home to the Home Cringe show here. I'm your host, Katie Shahan, and we are with Rich Kerner with Home App Realty, Watts Electric, and Month 8 Construction, because Rich is a true entrepreneur.
No, it's a little crazy, maybe.
So we've been talking about the current housing market. Right now, today is August 9th, 2024.
Yeah.
So just to give some context, in case you guys are listening to this later on our podcast, you can check out the Home Cringe podcast on any podcasting platform. So if you are listening to this down the road, just take that into effect when we're talking about interest rates in the buyer's market. Also, we're not finance people. So always talk to your mortgage lenders about interest rates. We're not giving any specific numbers. We're just talking trends in the current U.S. housing market and what we're seeing. Right, Rich?
You got it. Yep.
So Rich has been working with some sellers in the Twin Cities areas, home sellers. And so we're talking about kind of expectations. So currently, so I sold one of my houses in 2022. And I had an expectation. I listed my house, and then I listed it a little bit under of what I thought it could go for. And then with the expectation I would get $30,000 to $50,000 over asking price. So, Rich, kind of walk me through what's changed since then, and kind of what you're seeing with the market right now.
Well, we just took a current listing on, and we we priced it well, we were at the lower end of what the indicators were saying. We had a couple different indicators. One was saying 719, and the other one was saying 728. So we listed it at 699. It's only been on for about 3 days now, and we've had moderate action. So it is a higher price range, I would say middle. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy what houses can cost these days, but it hasn't been a flood of people wanting, or like we got overlapping bookings or anything like that. So
Yeah, so you're seeing kind of a slowdown in the buyer participation in the market, and we've talked a couple of reasons about that. One is in current interest rates, but we also talked about that there's articles out saying that there's more people applying for mortgage loans right now than have been for the whole of 2024, and the Fed has talked about lowering the interest rates. So with that in mind, we could see a flood of buyers re-entering the market. So Rich was giving some advice about if you're a current buyer right now and you want to avoid the multiple offers and the bidding scenarios and stuff. He's saying make the offer, right, Rich?
yeah, I'm always one to say make the offer. Use your best judgment. Go with what you're comfortable with, what you feel in your heart that the house is worth to you, and you make that offer to the seller.
Yeah. So, and sellers have to know that I'm not going to get $20,000 over asking anymore. I'm not going to have my house sell within the first 3 days, and I don't have to panic. Like we're going back to traditional home selling.
Exactly. I think just there's too many people have gotten spoiled, or maybe they weren't in the market before, or they never paid attention to the market before, and now they see the current the market that just happened where it was just outrageous, and they believe, well, hey, we should do that too, and it's not quite that way as it was maybe last summer, or it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it is the interest rate. It is the administration that's in right now, and they just need to help get that interest rate down and help America move again. Let's get people out there and not afraid to come out of their homes.
Exactly. And I know there are some tech products out there that can help home sellers. And I know I've used the Yarlow app before. It's YARLOW. It's a free app that you can download from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And basically, I can. It's a free app, so I just tell it which property I own. I put in all of my information, and then we're seeing users have been seeing a 5 to 10% initial higher asking offer because you listed all of your maintenance that you've done to the house. People like buyers really want data. Like we don't make decisions without 5-star reviews when we're looking at restaurants or home service professionals. Like we want to know what's going on with your house. So instead of just giving a binder at the end of it and saying, hey, like here's all my information, it's great. What you're doing with an app like Yarlow is what they do is they give you a QR code and you put that on your front door. So when buyers walk in, they can scan your QR code and it goes room by room, all of the changes you made to your house. So if you put in a new kitchen sink, if you put a pool in your backyard, the property Rich is listed right now in Andover, Minnesota, or Ham Lake, Minnesota, has a beautiful pool in the backyard. So it gives you all of that information. Is it maintained? Is it professionally installed? Like where the walls painted? How recently? Is there a warranty left on the hardwood flooring? So those are all the things that, as the market starts coming down a little bit and becomes more of a buyer's market, sellers can use these free tools to really help their house stand out and make it more give the buyers the data that they want to make a better offer on your house.
Oh yeah, I mean we all will research a restaurant before we go to it, like you said. And here it's one of the largest purchases of your life. I would hope that you would want all the information you could. Every property has the seller disclosures, and it's a list of everything in it. But it doesn't, like you say, it doesn't show the dishwasher was new a couple years ago and there's still a warranty on it. It doesn't show who did your hardware. It doesn't show who did you use for your furnace when they come out to clean it. And it's good to get, as a professional in the construction industry, it's once you've gone to a person's home, it's a lot better for the construction professional and the owner to have the same person come back. We're familiar with it. We've been there. We maybe have done work and we understand where, like for wiring, whatever, if we wired a basement and they had an issue with something in a year or two, they call us back. We're able to remember how the wiring was ran. And, generally
That's what that brings up one of my favorite home cringe stories that Rich told me. And it was he wired a house, and when winter came, tell us that story.
The heat tape.
Yeah.
So the owner we remodeled the kitchen over the summertime. So he went to plug his heat tape back in the fall, and his breaker, his GFI, would keep on tripping. It wasn't holding. And of course, since we remodeled his kitchen and the circuit came from that area, they assumed it was something that we did wrong. And we went out there, and I went out there myself, and we I looked at what we did, and I said, well, we'll change. It's not out of the ordinary that this outlet, these GFI AFCIs can be bad. We will change that out. And that's what we did. And then he called a week later and said it tripped out again. It held for a little bit, but then it would trip. So, well, long story short, sent one of my journeymen out there, and they spent a little bit longer there, and his heat tape was bad. Either it got nicked during the summertime laying on the ground, somebody walked on it, something happened to his heat tape. So what was good the previous winter, when he went to plug it in the fall, it wasn't any good anymore. And yeah, he was a little, red in the face because he didn't think about, hey, maybe that's it. Because if he would have unplugged his heat tape, his kitchen would have stayed on, everything would have been just fine. But he had the heat tape plugged in the entire time, and he was trying to reset that GFI, and it just wouldn't reset. So it would hold and then trip. So at least the GFI was doing its job. They're there to protect the
any fires.
Yep. Yeah, we're in.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have about a minute left here, so we're gonna wrap up. So, Home App Realty, you can get in touch with Rich. I also work there as well, and basically, we provide real estate services in the Twin Cities. You can check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, homeapp.com, or reach us. We have a main phone number of 612-655-2324. You can also reach out to that number if you want any electric work done, Watts Electric. And now he also has his contractor's license. So if you are looking for a whole project, definitely reach out to Watts Electric or Home App Realty. We'll get you in touch with Rich and his month 8 construction, and make sure that what you need for your house gets done. So thanks, Rich, for being on our show. This is the Home Cringe Show. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.